Alright, we're back. What an annoying start. We're giving it an extra second for everything to load. Bear with me. So annoying. Alright. We're back. Thank God. Whew. Okay. All the cameras are working. Let's start on this guy. Alright. I appreciate you guys. Super annoying. Well, we're back. Let's get a good song on. Alright, we're making fried chicken sandwiches. Jesus fucking Christ. This took way too long. I was getting so annoyed. Off stream, you have no idea. Cheers, we're making a drink. You know I could use one after that craziness. Alright, we're doing a little vodka, a little bit of our seltzer water. I'm calling it a day. Cheers. Appreciate you all. Alright, we got a couple things going. We're doing the fried chicken sandwich. We got our chicken marinating in buttermilk and seasoning, obviously. That's been going for over 24 hours. We're gonna get some pickles going. We have our quick pickle kind of marinade right here. I'll get that going in a second. We've got a like ranch dressing we're gonna make, and then we're gonna fry some chicken, obviously. So excited about that. Let's get our quick pickle going first. So in here we have some water, some white vinegar. I'm gonna add just a baby bit of turmeric. This is just gonna give it a little bit of color. Let's do a little bit more. A little bit of color and a little bit of, not much flavor, but mostly color. Mostly color. Alright, so we have that in there. Anything else I want to add to this? I think we're okay for right now. So let's get this guy just kind of up to heat, kind of boiled through. We've added some salt to that already. I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar, just kind of balance this out. Nothing crazy. Alright, so that's gonna be our pickle kind of liquid mixture. This is gonna be the rest of it here. So we have some chives, got some lemon rind, some garlic, dill, coriander seed, salt, pepper. Yeah, so I think that's gonna be a good time. Oh, a little bit of thyme in there as well. Let's get our cucumbers kind of going and in there, and then we'll pour this kind of hot mixture over it. Let's just use this much. Alright, we got a basic cucumber here. Let's take the wrapping off. This guy looks a little dirty, honestly. Let's clean him up. Alright, we're just gonna go thin slices. I think like maybe a touch less than this. I think that's the goal, a touch less than this. What's up, Moses Lake Gang? It is super sunny here too. We're enjoying it. Alright, nice thin slices. We could use the mandolin on this. It'd save me 45 seconds. We don't want to scare Devin. Alright. It's good enough for some pickles. Make sure there's none that are too thick here. And kind of individualize them. Alright, we'll get all these guys in here. These are all looking great. Alright, let's give this guy a little mix about. Alright, it's coming up. It's giving like sea salt and vinegar vibes. I love it. Alright, so this will just be our couple pickles. I'm not going to make too many because we don't eat a ton of pickles, so we'll just do the kind of right amount for our fried chicken sando. Cheers again. Oh, all right. The other thing we're gonna make here in a second is some ranch dressing. So I was saying this earlier, but we've made the chicken sando in the past. The one thing that we didn't have was the fryer, so excited about that. And then we're gonna do just kind of like a baby riff on it. I think we're just gonna keep it simple. The ranch dressing, the kind of shreddis or the shredded lettuce, maybe some onion in there. And I think that's about it. I might go a little bit spicier too on the chicken sando. So I think we'll make like a kind of a spicy seasoning to hit it with once it comes out of the fryer. But first things first, we're getting our pickles going here. I'll just separate these out a little bit more. Okay. So we're steaming. I don't want this to be like too hot. I just want it to come up to temp. And we're just gonna do enough to cover them. Whew. Spilt that everywhere a little bit for me. Alright. We're gonna throw a lid on this guy. Get them all shaken up for the most part. Alright, we're gonna let them do their thing. Throw them in the fridge here. Cool down. Pickle up. You know the drill. Alright, I think the next thing that we're gonna do is get the chicken like dredged and ready. We're taking a little bit of a different route on the chicken. In the past, we've done the three parts, right? The dry flour, the egg wash, and then the panko or the batter, whatever it is, to kind of finish the chicken before you fry it. We're going a little bit of a different route on this one here. We're gonna season flour really heavily. We're gonna have a dry flour station. We're gonna have a wet flour station, and then we're gonna have another dry flour station. There's not gonna be any egg, and the thought here is we're gonna get it dredged, we're gonna get it really wet, and then we're gonna get like the dryness back into it, and hope to get these like little pockets of like, you'll kind of see here, but these little like crispy things that will turn into these crispy little deals. That's the thought. That's the kind of thought with the fried chicken. I want this like really crispy, light batter around it, and then the soft kind of tender chicken on the inside. So let's get a little bit of this going to start. I'm basically gonna season up some flour, and then we're gonna use that in each of the kind of parts here. All right, when I think about seasoning flour or seasoning chicken, a couple things come to mind. Are we seasoning for color at all, or is it just purely flavor? I think here is going to be, for the most part, purely flavor. And then I want to season all of this so we can have the same amount of seasoning in each kind of third part. So we just have some basic salt here, pepper, and MSG are kind of three basic favorites. This is a lot of flour, so we're gonna not be timid on the seasoning. All right, that's onion. This is garlic. This is cayenne. I do want a little bit of spice, and then I think we're gonna make a finishing seasoning as well here. All right, what else do I want to add? Let's do a little bit of chili powder. I'm doing a lot of the seasonings that I added into the kind of wet mixture here, and we'll use some of that in our wet piece as well. All right, paprika. And let's try to mix this in for the most part. All right, let's take some of our seasoned flour. And this will be our dry kind of piece. We don't need a ton of base or flour in there, so we'll leave that. And then let's get our wet one. So I do want to add some of this same flour. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of our buttermilk kind of sauce. Start there. All right, the rest we're just gonna use water to kind of thin out. But I do want it to be somewhat of a paste here, so this color is already looking great. Let's thin it out with some water. All right, just a touch thinner. And we only have 3 pieces of chicken here, so I think this is a great amount. The wetness is looking perfect. It's more of a paste than like a thin batter. And what that will do is really adhere to the kind of first prep, and then we're gonna really just shove it in this guy and really hope that it like grabs onto as much of that as possible. All right, this guy's looking good. Let's get our chicken out and ready. All right, you guys can kind of see this. All right, getting this guy nice and coated in the dry flour, seasoned flour. Looks great. All right, into our wet. And then back into our heavy dry. I'm gonna be washing my hands a lot just because I want to get as much of this like in and on there. I just want all the wetness to be kind of covered with the dryness, is the kind of thought here. All right, put this guy on the side, just let him chill. All right, rinse and repeat. Let's get the next guy. All right, fully coated. Adding some of this back in there. We're making a mess. It's okay. I'm washing my hands a lot because the batter kind of sticks to the fingers here, so the least amount that I can have stick to my fingers, the more is gonna stick onto the chicken here. Okay. All right. First two looking great. Alright, and our wet guy. Back into our dry guy. All right, looking good to me. Let's do a quick moment for cleaning here. And we're gonna just let these kind of chicken pieces like sit and chill and like soak up their flourness, so to speak. And that's really gonna encourage and incorporate those like crispy little bits and those like crispy chunky bits. That's the thought. All right, we have our oil here. Let's get it turned up. We want 325-ish. We'll see how well that goes. Alright, watch out, buddy. You're in the way a little bit. Alright, I'm going to save the rest of this flour. Maybe a little bit more elsewhere. And just to touch it up right before it goes in the oil here. So the oil, we want it at about 325. I think we're going to go a little bit lower of an oil temp. A little bit higher, it turns dark brown a little bit quicker. You gotta be like pretty on top of it. Cheers. So I think a little bit lower will give us a little bit more like leeway on the cooking temp. And a little bit lower and slower feels good to me. And then we're not like taking the chicken out when it's like a little bit overly brown. Is the thought. Alright, we have our chicken resting. We have our oil coming up to heat. Let's get our ranch going. I'm excited about this. I love making ranch. I love this version of ranch. We're gonna use this bowl, I guess. It's not my usual bowl, but whatever. Alright, we have some lemon thyme here. I'm taking off the stems. Basically, this ranch is like cream, mayo, a lot of herbs, Worcestershire, lemon. All good things. A little garlic. We've got some fun herbs here too, so let's riff on these. We've got some chives. Alright, good amount of chives with some of our thyme. The thyme that I just like used there, I guess. Sorry, the thyme that I just used there is from our garden, which I love that for us. And it's also lemon thyme, which just has this like beautiful floral kind of scent. Along with the great thyme as well. So, all right, we got some dill. Let's Let's just do a quick rough chop on some of these guys. Some big stems I'll take out of there, but other than that, all right, some parsley. This is probably the finest chop we'll want on the herb compared to the rest. I just want like a really fine parsley. I just don't want like big chunks. So I think that makes sense. Oh, I'm also going to add a little bit of basil from our garden. Let me go grab that in a second. It's globe basil. I don't know if you guys are familiar with globe basil. I was not until before we got it, or until after we got it. All right, good amount of parsley in there. Let's grab our basil. Alright, this is what globe basil kind of looks like. The leaves are extremely small, which I love. And then it's called globe because when it like grows, it's like this perfect little basil globe bush. That's the thought at least. So let's try to strip some of these off while not adding as many stems. Kind of pull them apart. Smelling good, feeling good. Okay. Woo. Last herb. Oh. Lost me. All right, last herb we're adding here is some tarragon. Tarragon is the like licoricey herb. I don't know why people are afraid of tarragon or don't like tarragon. I love it. Goes great with chicken too, but we don't need a ton. I think it's like a great kind of background, subtle addition, and I like it finely chopped with the others. All right, we got our herbs. We got parsley, basil, thyme, dill, tarragon. Anything else? Chives. All right, let's get a garlic clove. We're gonna microplane it in here. Alright, that was one. Let's do one more. One more feels right. Beautiful. Alright, this recipe calls for like about a half cup of each of these things here, so we're just gonna eyeball it or like get kind of close, but won't be upset if we're off. gonna do like a lesser amount. It's like a little bit less than a half cup. Let's do a little bit less than a half cup of this. Beautiful. All right, this is buttermilk. Let's put some of this away. Turn our pickles about. Love that for us. All right. Moment for cheers. We're riffing. We're out and about. We got a lot going on. All right, cheers for before we get a ranch going. All right, we got our liquids. Little Worcestershire. I like a little lemon rind. Oh, and then we're gonna seal some lemon juice. Yummy, yummy so far. All right, what else do I want in my ranch? We got Worcestershire, garlic, sour cream, mayo, buttermilk, bunch of herbs, lemon rind. We got some, do we have seasoning? I don't think so. Let's add a little bit of this onion. A little bit of this garlic. Let's see where we're at. Let's start here, see where we end up. Oh, we didn't add any salt, pepper. Let's do a quick hit of salt, hit of pepper. Did we already add this? I don't think so. Ooh. I mean, yum. That's great. All right, we're gonna let this chill and do what it needs to do. All right, that looks good. Let's do some putting away of things. So far, this is looking great, though. All right, we're looking good, feeling good. Alright, I think I want onions on mine. And I think I just want like a kind of fine dice. I don't know if I want like strings of onions. I think I want it to be like, the McDonald's cheeseburger. The really fine onions in there. I think that's the move. Forgot our oil is coming up to temp. Moment for cheers. Alright, let's sacrifice the yucky layers. Alright, I want these to be fine dice, so we're gonna take that amount and really chop them fine here. Do you guys know the McDonald's fine onions I'm talking about? I feel like as a kid that was like, yeah, I for sure love onions on my McDonald's Happy Meal cheeseburger. But outside of that, I don't know if I loved onions. I do remember them just being like super fine. I think that's what we're kind of going for here. Alright, a couple more passes, looking for that uniformity. Oh, is this clean? Oh, it is dirty. Holler. Alright, moment for cleaning. I know it's not your guys' favorite, but alright, looking good, feeling good. Wish you guys could smell it in here. It smells so herby and delicious. I love it. A lot of dill, which is, as you guys know, top 5 favorite herb. Smells good, feels good in here. Alright. All over the place. Alright, small container for the onions. Get as much of them in there as we want. The rest can be sacrificed. Alright. Alright, we need to reflour these guys. Where'd he go? let's take a look at our oil temp. Been doing a lot on the cutting board. Little switcheroo here. Moment for cheers. Deep breath. Appreciate you guys. Alright, let's get our hot oil over here. Let's get a temperature read. Alright, we're at like 320. A little bit hotter. I think my thermometer just died on me, literally in the middle of it. What the heck?
Need help?
You have any big thermometer and big batteries?
I was gonna say you need a little. This is not.
Big one. Alright, that's super ironic. Our temperature thing died right literally as I'm using it. Alright, the good news was it was at 315. We just turned it up, so it should be close to 325. That's the heat that I want it at. Alright, I'm just reflouring these, make sure they're covered and looking good, feeling good. I think they are. See all those like little crinkles and cracks and crevices? Alright. Turning the heat up because we just dropped it. I think we're going to do these individually. Probably makes the most sense. Let's get our kind of finishing area going. And it's going to be a couple minutes on each side. Really, we're just going to make sure that it's all the way cooked through. I don't know how we're going to do that without a thermometer, but just trust me. They're thin. It's fine. All right, 53. Throw it away. Alright, we're just playing the waiting game a little bit. We've already got our brioche buns. Take a look at those. Yummy. We're gonna shred some lettuce here in a second. I can get that going. But we do want to keep an eye on our chicken. Alright, it's been about 1 minute, a couple more, and we'll flip her. Really, we're looking for color. So far, so good. This container has like a crack in the lid, so it keeps spilling. It's annoying. Alright, the turmeric gave it a nice, like, kind of golden color I love. Yum. Do you like pickles typically?
Not really, but I want to have
It's like a, oops, sorry, finishes really well, but beginning is pretty neutral.
I'm telling you, I just wish they were cold.
I agree. That's why we're going
Yummy.
back in the fridge.
Yummy though.
I think so too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we flipped it. It's been 2 minutes. We'll do another 2.5. But looking good and crispy. I'm excited.
What's that?
Just extra flour.
Ooh.
We'll dust it off at the end.
Stir the fried chicken?
Yeah.
Yum.
Couple more seconds, maybe a minute. All right, in with a second. Turn the heat up a bit so it's continues to have the heat up. All right, let's cut some of this out. Some of this looks gross. All right, double check this. This all looks great. All right, we're taking a little bit of our shredded olive oil. salt, MSG, a little pepper. So far, so good. Looks a little dark, but I'm okay with it. Super hot. One for cheers. Alright, we're flipping him. It's been a couple minutes. Alright, moment for cleaning. Alright, I think we're getting there. Alright, just a second longer on this guy and then we'll get the last guy going. Do you want tomato on yours? No? Alright, last guy's in. Alright, we turn the heat up just a bit so it finishes well. 2 minutes in, or 2 minutes after the hour for clocking purposes. We didn't do a spicy seasoning. I think we're just gonna finish with a little bit of cayenne on the top. Nothing crazy. Alright, spinning this guy around, make sure he's doing his thing. A little wipe down. Alright, been about a minute, minute and a half on this first side. Make sure we're still doing well. What do you want?
Oh, it's okay. Okay.
1 Yeah, where is Theo? Theo's on the balcony.
He's chilling. He loves
Having a
it
good
out
time.
there.
We're excited to see you guys too next week. Just gotta get through the work week.
Yeah.
Alright, let's give her a flip. Oh. Do you want ranch on yours?
That's cute.
Oh, thank you. Alright, we're getting these wrapped and ready. Alright, let's take a look at these guys. Yum. Look at the crispy, crunchy bits in there. Devin's is plain as hell because she doesn't like ranch, but...
This is yours?
That one's yours.
This is mine?
Yeah.
Ooh, nice. It's big.
Alright, we got some ranch, we got some crispy chicken, we got some shreddis, we got some light onion. Oh, we didn't do the pickles! I knew we were forgetting. Alright. One more?
2 more.
All right. Get this guy out. All right, we're calling it a night. We appreciate you guys. Look at this. Right? Okay. Fun chicken sando. We're excited to take a bite. Enjoy your Sunday. We can't wait to go see you guys in Moses Lake the next weekend. Everyone else, enjoy the work week ahead. Until next time. Won't be next weekend though.